course, still a couple of fans for SNG Gaming in the crowd there, but the chance of Snake fighting.
But what were the chants? Was it Snake fighting?
Yep,
yeah,
in a very heavy Chongqing accent coming out for Snake there.
There you go. It's good to see.
A lot of Snake fans, a lot of Snake supporters in that arena.
God, that is a lot of unsealed spellbook.
A lot of unsealed spellbook.
I thought this meta had passed.
The only thing that's not being picked up for Snake is for Flandre. He already has teleport though, so there's potential we could see 5 teleports being picked up for Snake.
Oh, if SofM picks up teleport fish, I'd be more worried about that than anything else.
No, but it's purely. Oh, sorry, mostly being picked up by junglers like Skarner, who rely on Flash so much to get that cooldown reduction.
The reason, yeah, so it helps a lot with the Flash for Skarner. It also helps that you can get rid of the Smite later in the game, more so than just the Flash. You can run Cleanse, you can run Ghost, something that we haven't really seen a wealth of in competitive League of Legends, but we know can exist for Skarners. And usually you'll see the Predator there, so instead of having that move speed, the gap closing, is decided that this game is more Flash reliant. And that's interesting when you actually highlight Snake skirmishing and where SofM will be getting the ganks off. It is super important that he can lock down the carries of Knight or Fury. And being able to have that flash means that he can actually get around the strengths that a Varus would have with the ultimate, with the E, with the ability to slow you down. And because he has no mobility, if you pull in the Varus, it's very easy to lock him down.
He's also up against a Tahm Kench, who is known to be able to defuse 1 or 2 of these Skarner ultimates. So having that flash back up from time to time allows him not only to try and snag Yun when he tries to pick up Knight or Fury, but also try to work around that cooldown of the Devourer, of the ETH that Yun will have.
Of course, just throw it more often as well. He may have Sorcery in secondary, we don't know. Oh, actually a stopwatch. I lied.
We'll keep track of that later on, but moving into mid lane. GWOR against Knight. Knight currently has a ton of good stats in the league at the moment, topping the table for against a lot of mid laners. But GWOR, he's been doing fine for Snake as well.
Yeah, Gogo's had an outstanding start to the split. Someone that you're always going to have a bit of worry about has actually stepped up to the plate. Don't spend too much time talking about mid lane fish because we're going straight to the jungle as well.
And this is exactly who Snake tried to play around, SofM. Look, he's on Skarner. He's already level 4, ahead of H4cker, and he's invading, as you'd expect him to do.
And there's a reason that we go from mid lane to jungle when it comes to the stats between both of these teams. It's that SofM will do exactly what you expect. He is consistent every single time he is going to be invading. Yes, but the rest of the team needs to work with SofM, needs to actually enable him to make these plays, or he'll never be successful. When Invictus Gaming beat them, Rookie rotated. Rookie made sure that it was a 1v2 and controlled mid lane against GWOR, and we already saw that that can be successful.
He's got a couple of good runes there. So you can see the ward he's placed down at the Raptor camp. That's going to last extra long due to Zombie Ward being picked up by Skarner. But he's gone for boots in his inspiration tree, which is not something you usually see on Skarner. They want to try and pick up boots as early as they can to be a bit faster. So SofM will be slightly slower than H4cker, or slightly slower in his ganks to kick off this match.
It's alright, it just means that he's looking more towards that level 6 type of thing now. Even when he hits level 6, usually you would have a Predator to compensate, so that's why this is very curious overall. It's just going to be slow, and it means he kind of has to flash, or he has to gank at level 4 and get the flash away from someone, get the summoner spell out, and have more reliance on his allies having crowd control, and that they do have.
Yeah, plenty. Flandre top set about one. Nah, you've got it. Nazir in the mid lane, as well as a Braum Kog'Maw in the bottom lane.
Skarner is an auto attacker, right? So Braum does actually complement it very nicely.
And in this bottom lane matchup, as you'd expect, Fury on the Varus is pushing in early against Kog'Maw and Braum. This lane will start to diffuse later on in the match, but for now it's all about SNG having priority.
Certainly, with the push in the bottom lane, with SNG Gaming having that 2v2 advantage, Sejuani then has an opportunity on the bottom side of the map. But SofM has invaded already, has taken away a camp or two, has started to pressure, and H4cker's realized that he can't just sit on the bottom side where his lane's winning. He wants to help top lane.
We can already see Xiao, despite being a melee champion, is bullying Flandre quite a bit on Nah.
Yeah, I was having a conversation about this earlier in the day with Raz, and we were talking about ADD as Flandre is going to get ganked, but ADD picks Sion into Nah. He picks it into matchups where traditionally you'd be like, well, the Nah has range, has poke, and can push you out. But Sion actually excels at diffusing those champions. Nah's firstly a 3-proc champion. Sion could just use all of his crowd control. And now with the addition of Comet, every time he's in mini form, you press E, you max E, you slow him down. You actually win trades against Nah very consistently in this 1v1.
Yeah, we were starting off the split saying that Camille is one of the few top laners who can utilize that Comet, but now Sion's been able to do so quite effectively. So SofM has to burn that flash defensively, trying to invade against H4cker and just deny some of these small Raptors there.
Fairy collapse for SNG Gaming. They take the necessary steps against SofM, pushing him away. Now, he does still have a CS lead. He has still controlled the jungle. There's an experience lead for SofM. These are the things that are almost guaranteed in a Snake set. He will do this. And it's not about can you stop him from doing it every time, it's about how can you react and how can you apply countermeasures to give yourself a lead instead. Is it kill him, or is it kill somewhere else on the map?
I already see a lot of teleports being used to kickstart this match. Both top laners teleport into their lanes, so do both the mid laners. Crystal and Fury, both AD carries, swap out to teleport themselves, and SofM goes aggressive against Knight, but it's the bottom lane where we're really looking at as a wraparound comes out from SNG Gaming right behind the turret. Hootie was yet to go back to base, and he gets taken out for first blood. Meanwhile, mid lane, Knight's going to pick up a kill, a solo kill against SofM.
Yeah, Knight secures himself a 1v1 kill. Hacker also just going to let SofM know that he sees him, but SofM's also level 6, so Hacker can't do this. They want to clear the next wave and go back to base. Meanwhile, a kill in the bottom lane. Things are going very right for SNG Gaming.
SofM still fancies a chance
he
of fighting
may actually
Hacker.
take this fight simply because he's level 6.
It was level 2 against a level 4 Sejuani. SofM has been farming up a storm. Takes a lot of resources from the mid lane as well, but it's SNG Gaming who pick up the 2 very early kills to kickstart this match, give them a small lead.
And of course, is the counterplay that we discussed. The fact that they're able to make some kills, generate a kill 2v2 in the bottom lane, pick Varus firstly to have control of the lane, pick Tahm Kench to be able to save your AD carry and let him play forwards, play aggressively, and then play up into the Kog'Maw to secure those kills. Now we do get to see how it happens, and this was very cute from the side of SNG Gaming. Wait to the last second, Ignite's there. There was not a chance for Hootie. He's not able to react. He was definitely looking at his items that he was going to purchase.
Yeah, he tried to stay in lane, tried to hold the wave while Crystal teleported back into the lane.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they catch him while he's recalling. Good punish coming out from SNG Gaming.
Great punish, and very unorthodox in the way that they do that as well, by wrapping around the turret, something that you would never expect to see. So again, it's creative, but it's also successful.
So all across the map, everyone is doing well for SNG Gaming. Xiao has been able to neutralize this lane for Flandre. As we saw in the jungle, yes, SofM has an experienced lane. In fact, he's 2 levels up over Hacker. But Hacker's been able to defuse him so far, burn his flash early. And you have kills in the mid lane as well as the bottom lane just naturally coming out from SNG Gaming. So things are looking good for them. Snake still yet to be able to play around SofM.
We haven't really spoken into any detail as to why the kills happen in the mid lane as well. We got very distracted by what happened bottom lane, but ultimately Guogo comes back in with a teleport. He was feeling very strong compared to Knight, who hadn't shopped, and chose to commit to a fight. By choosing to commit to that and missing the ultimate, and then opened himself for an opportunity for Knight to turn that one around. And unfortunately for Guogo, that's an execution problem, where he's just missed it, where the decision was still decent and was sound.
Yep.
But unfortunately, with that backfiring, it doesn't just hurt him in that Knight gets away from the ultimate, it hurts him in that it turns around for the kill, and then upsets the entire balance of mid lane.
Both junglers were in the back pockets of the mid lane as well, so they felt fairly confident. Neither were able to impact that mid lane gank, however. Hacker is still slightly behind SofM when it comes to experience, but he's been able to impact the map slightly.
And speaking of junglers, SofM past level 6 is now level 8. I guess he's just waiting for his free-ass boots before he goes in and makes a play with the ultimate.
Kind of makes sense. You don't get them early, but it does give you that additional movement speed even after you upgrade the boots.
The thing is, like, Sejuani is going to be useful no matter what. So you're looking for Skarner to get a CS advantage and then affect a lane somewhere. He's just not affecting lanes currently. He's working with vision. He's doing the first steps, yes. But then he goes into the enemy jungle instead. And meanwhile, if a Sejuani's throwing her ultimate in another lane, they get a kill, that's going to get potentially worse and worse for the side of Snake. So you need him to influence somewhere. You need him to affect somewhere and get something done. A CS advantage eventually will mean nothing because the Sejuani is always relevant.
That's kind of where SofM has put a lot of his attention towards, shutting down the opposite jungler. You can see Hacker's yet to upgrade his tracker knife. So still waiting to get the full jungle item complete. And SNG Gaming make an attempt to make a play on the top side of the map. Very patient play coming out from Flandre. Disciplined play from him. Backs away all the way off that top lane out of turret.
There was some vision there from Snake. Flandre also just jumped to dodge it.
That's unfortunate as well, but Sign will get the charge through, locks down Flandre, and from patient and disciplined play comes a recklessness for the top laner of Snake.
I mean, a Corki gets a package and suddenly all 3 members have crowd control and they're all able to jump towards you with great distances to cover. Flandre just shouldn't have been there.
Well, SofM has found Knight in the mid lane. Guoco gets some decent damage onto Corki, but he Valkyries away from that situation.
That's a nice idea from SofM, but it doesn't mean they'll get a turret. Meanwhile, top lane, SNG Gaming able to do just that. Get objectives, dive Flandre, who at one stage was patient, and then the next step was just overstepping his bounds, not really respecting that the distance a Sion, Sejuani, and Corki with package can cover is greater than you'll ever be able to throw your little boomerang. He just dies, and suddenly SNG Gaming just comprehensive win of the trade.
It was unfortunate because Corki's package knocked Flandre out of the Sejuani ultimate, but then you realize there's a Sion anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you've used your jump. He's just trucking towards you. There's not a lot you can do, unfortunately, Flandre. We mentioned this, his best step was to not be there, but he chose to step up.
So SNG's entire, every single lane for SNG so far has been doing well. We've already seen Hacker impact top side of the map. Knight was able to get a solo kill in the mid lane, impact the top lane as well. Whereas Snake, everything and all eyes have been on SofM. Yes, he has a 2-level lead over Hacker, but like you've mentioned, that hasn't transitioned into anything. Now with a 2,000 gold lead, things are going to get exponentially harder for Snake Esports.
And because Sejuani has a kill, a lot of the CS difference between them starts to get reduced more and more, and she's still going to catch up here and there with experience. Now SofM does have a 2-level advantage, and so that is still a big win. And if ever there's, say, a 2v2 skirmish where SofM and Guogo are going to meet Knight and Hacker in the mid lane, you'd still actually say that that experience advantage does mean a great deal in terms of stats that they get. The Skarner should be very strong. They should be able to look towards that and win that, but it hasn't happened.
Ooh, forcing the flash out of Crystal. Cute play coming out from Fury and Yoon. Once again, being very proactive in that bottom lane.
There's a ward in the bush, so very good stuff from them.
Yoon's gone back to base and picked up his Guinsoo's Rage Wave. You'd expect Crystal to do the same as he heads back to the fountain as well, but Yoon is still stopping him from recalling.
Not having a good day. And we know what happened last time someone tried to recall at the outer turret. They dove in with a flash and ignite. Yoon, of course, doesn't have ignite this time. He's gone towards the teleport. Wants to influence the rest of the map.
May force Crystal to teleport back to this turret, and he does. So no summoner spells available for this Kog'Maw when he returns to the lane.
Big advantage for SNG Gaming. Of course, the heal has been picked up by Fury now. Doesn't have the teleport himself, used it once and just went with the Tahm Kench ultimate back to lane. Something that SNG Gaming honestly have always been good at. Even when they were a lesser performing team at the bottom of the table, they still had a strong bottom lane. They still had great capabilities of roaming around, compliments of Fury and Yoon as the dynamic duo on the Tahm Kench.
And we're about to see SNG Gaming set up to do just that. You'd expect. This is a team that likes to go towards the 1-3-1 or the 1-4 split push team compositions, with Yoon be able to move around the map with the teleports available for not only him, but also the mid lane and top laner of the team.
Yes.
They'll start to try and split Snake apart.
And that's where we have to actually direct our attention for SNG Gaming's next step. So it's not actually Fury and Yoon going elsewhere. Realistically, it's everyone going to them.
And they're trying to lock down SofM here as well. They get him down to half health, forced to use a stopwatch. Guogo getting as much damage down as he can, but it's not enough. SofM is going to fall. Knight picks up another kill for himself. No, Hacker gets it with red buff.
There you go, just like that. SofM caught out of position in the river. The Sejuani ultimate is enough to lock him down. Knight also being level 11. Does increase the amount of burst that he has on that Corki. At SNG Gaming, one pick straight over to the objective. They just lock it down.
And as much as SNG Gaming are playing this well, they're capitalizing on out-of-position players from Snake Esports. They're making sure they use their win conditions to rotate around the map and pick up objectives like the Ocean Dragon. We haven't seen anything out of Snake Esports in this match.
SofM does kind of feel uncomfortable on the Skarner for ganking. And I don't know how much you would ever say that SofM is a gank-based jungler, to be fair, right? A lot of the time it's his laners that generally do super well, but Guogo gets solo killed. The bottom lane's dying in the 2v2. And it does mean that, like, and I will be fair to SofM, his job is a lot harder when lanes are losing to get a gank off, especially a Skarner who needs to use the ultimate for a gank to be successful. But at the same time, they ban him out pretty hard with the champion select. They force him onto something that he hasn't played, and I wouldn't say this is the best performance from him thus far.
And again, they had the option to pick up their jungler nice and early. Champions like Zac and Java was still open for SofM to pick up if he wanted to. Say going to the Skarner champion, but I believe we have not seen him play just yet.
I think we're at a point in the bottom lane 2v2 where Varus will probably just stack up Guinsoo's and just peg the ultimate at Snake's bottom lane as well. You can see the amount of respect that Crystal and Hootie have got, simply because there's no flash or teleport on the Kog'Maw. At any moment an all-in could occur.
They're making sure they constantly push in Crystal as well as Hootie, making sure that they're kept underneath that outer turret. This is allowing SNG Gaming to make plays elsewhere on the map. Guogo is the target of mid lane as Hacker charges forward, gets that package used as well by Knight. Guogo tries to throw them back with his ultimate, but it's just a clean gank from SNG Gaming.
That was actually very cute. You could see the intent from SNG Gaming's jungler, and it almost looked like Knight was hesitating to make the same play, but ultimately when you've got the package and you can cover a screen's worth of distance, act like no one's here, like you're not interested in going for something, and suddenly you've got the package to follow up and they secure the kill. very cute from SNG Gaming, but ultimately just super successful.
It's led to a 3,000 gold lead for SNG. Again, top lane outer turret was taken out very early by the team. Allows Xiaoao to rotate like we are seeing him do at the moment. Teleport being used by SofM to get back into the mid lane. Oh, Snake are just slowly bleeding out of this match.
They really are. I mean, Azir does have wave clear to try and hold on to this structure. They've only lost the one outer turret in terms of control around the map with the neutral objectives, though they are starting to lose more and more. Herald may well be looked at soon by SNG Gaming. This is that first step before it all. Knight has teleport, Xiaoao has teleport. SNG Gaming, they've got their ultimates for the bottom lane.
Sion's going to charge back up to the top lane for a second, thinking that that was going to go down to the bottom lane, where 4 members of SNG Gaming are grouped up. And they chip away at the bottom lane outer turret once again. We already mentioned Fury and Yoon have the push against the bottom lane Crystal and Hutier. No Dragon up available at the moment. That will spawn in another 3 minutes or so.
But that's fine. The exact strategy that SNG Gaming just used can be replicated time and again until the turret falls. If every single moment that Knight has control of the mid lane and Hacker can walk towards the bottom side of the rift means that they get 4 attacks on the turret, then you do that 3 times.
They try to go back towards the mid lane. SofM this time will be able to dodge out from Hacker's ultimate.
Good little fancy feed, of course, from Gorgo.
He has his Nash 2 complete, but he's up against a Trinity Force Corki. Big power spike for Knight. He's just going to get stronger from here.
Absolutely. Now's a time where you can see Hacker in particular trying his best to make some extra plays. Every time the ultimate is off cooldown, he's going to look towards a target. Now, Gorgo does have flash still, so he can be secured, can be locked down. The best time to make the play that he just did is around the package timing anyway. So that was just throwing the ultimate out for the sake of using it to see if they can even chunk him down would be a big win. Get the ultimate out of the Azir would be a big win. The end goal is still there from Sunin. It is the bottom lane and the mid lane outer turrets, and they are chunking them down.
Oh, they could have pushed for it right there, but instead they take the safe route of going back to base, allow the cannon minions to chip away at this turret a little bit more.
There was a teleport ward behind them as well that they wouldn't have checked, I don't think. The control ward in the bush perhaps could have been their undoing, but the reservation is something that you like to see from LPL teams because it's very rarely there.
Nice item picker coming up from Yoon as well. He goes for the QSS very early. Does allow Fury and Knight some breathing room not to pick up their own. Making sure they can always save the target that's being pulled back by SOFM.
Now it was EDG against SNG Gaming where we saw a Tom Kent refuse to pick up the QSS.
And we saw not only Knight, but Fury as well, who didn't pick it up till... sorry, it was from EDG as well, who didn't pick it up.
So SNG Gaming now
as well as iBoy. The SNG Gaming know exactly how this Skarner works after trying to use it against EDG.
And it's the Tom Kent who picks it up, which is more important than you'd admit, as they are going bottom as best they can.
Trying to lock down Yoon, uses his flash very early to get away from both Skarner as well as Braum.
Of course. Now, there's going to be a trade on the opposite side by SNG during this time. It looks like Snake want to pressure for the outer turret. By knowing where SNG Gaming are, perhaps this is the chance to do that. At the same time, a Varus and a Tom Kent, particularly with the QSS, makes it almost impossible to dive them. They have wave clear, they have their ultimates still there from the Varus, and they've got the ability to stay alive with 2 stopwatches. Only in your wildest dreams will that be a successful dive. And so it's not the trade that Snake perhaps were looking towards or having their eye in on. They just lose an objective.
Well, SNG are going to be able to tear apart the map once again. Xiao's been doing a good job of pushing in Flandre towards his side of the jungle. With Rift Herald, Hacker as well as Knight can start to pressure this mid lane outer turret. We already know that bottom lane outer turret is incredibly low. So again, SNG trying to attack on multiple fronts, making sure that Snake can constantly split up and they can't try and group together to force a fight.
Interesting to note as well, the Corki's item build here. He's gone towards the BF sword, which is of course the Infinity Edge, and then a dagger. I think he just wants to optimize his immediate damage output by getting a 300 gold item instead of waiting for the crit cloak or for a pickaxe to have something extra, which usually indicates that they want to fight immediately after they get the Drake. Here we go.
And they already have the attack speed on hit damage from Fury. A lot of burst damage coming up from Knight will help them out as well. Still very calm, very patient SNG here. They've acquired a 4,000 gold lead up against Snake Esports. Snake, again, we have yet to see them make too many proactive plays for themselves. Lots of cleanses have been picked up by 3 members of the squad, support, AD carry, and mid lane.
Yeah, they're very ready to not die. I think with everybody that has an unsealed spellbook switching to cleanse, I'm surprised that SOFM hasn't gotten rid of Smite to switch to cleanse himself at this stage, as they are threatening mid.
Try to lock down Gorkor. There's that first cleanse being used to get away from the ultimate of Fury. Hacker threw down the Rift Herald. It's able to break mid lane outer turret. Now all 3 outer turrets have been taken down by Suning.
The correct play from Suning Gaming once again. They get the bottom lane turret. The first outer was gone in top lane as well for Suning. They just go to the last remaining. The tower that gives them control of the map. The objective that gives them access to Baron. Easier objectives around Drake Pit as well. And Snaker just left responded, but not knowing what to do in response. Just kind of dealing with the punches being thrown at them. No counters.
You can see where a lot of the gold lead is being distributed for the team. It's 1,000 for both AD carry, mid lane, and top laner. A little bit more, a little bit less for Hacker, and Yoon approaching 1,000 gold himself. So it's evenly spread out across Suning.
Yeah, a bit less for Hacker, but he's 3-0 anyway. He's starting to catch up in experience. They're now equal levels. It's not a 2 XP difference in levels for SOFM anymore. And suddenly you're just staring down the face of a 0-1-0 Skarner with very little contribution, who still has a lot of targets to use his ult on, but he just can't find them in the first place.
This is where we go back to a lull in the action between the two teams. After all the turrets have been taken down, you'd expect Suning to take it nice and slow and probably make their way towards the Baron after splitting up Snake a little bit more.
Of course, that's the place that you'd be looking towards. If nothing else, Suning Gaming can use the Baron as a place to generate some picks. With the Sejuani, if Corki has a package, with a Varus ultimate, even with the Scion, this is that first step for them with the outers gone. Now they want to set up vision control and group up around that, but we are seeing them play towards something we mentioned through the draft phase as a potential strategy for them, and that is send Knight towards the bottom lane as the Corki. Actually start off more of a 1-3-1 style, and instead they bring the Scion into group because Knight seems to have kill threat.
And they've got teleport for Knight, so it's not like he's just a sitting duck when he does split push for Suning. Snake, they really have to try and find a way back into this match. They've yet to pick up a single objective nor a single kill for their team. However, they do have Skarner. Whenever Tom Kenja's not nearby one of the players from Suning, there are no other QSSs. So SofM can try and make a pick for his team and turn that into an objective.
Okay, I was thinking about it. You know, I'm a Yasuo player, right? Why would a Yasuo ever go to a side lane? He's either 0-6 or he has 700 gold until he's completed his item. There's the only 2 reasons. Now, you look at the itemization from Knight on Corki, it's a very similar reason here. He's gone towards a Zeal with the makings of Infinity Edge, but he hasn't actually completed the IE or any stronger second item in any capacity. And so his damage spike compared to someone like the Scion, who completed a full tank itemization, is actually a little bit less. So they choose to put him on a side lane where he can threaten a 1v1. He doesn't necessarily want a team fight just yet. And when he gets the Infinity Edge or the Rapid Fire Cannon, he can come in and one-hit people, which may actually be a surprising amount of damage to Snake.
Yeah, the only difference between him and every Yasuo I've ever played with or against, including yours, is that he's not 0-6 at the moment. So he's doing absolutely fine for himself on this Corki.
That was a very needless jab because I'm never 0-6.
That is an absolute lie. But he is still in that bottom lane, still trying to split push against Flandre.
1v1 me Yasuo.
Don't play that champion. I don't have the mechanical, hands to actually play Yasuo.
You don't have hands?
Don't have hands. No hands available.
That's awkward.
Suning is still trying to control this Baron pit, trying to control the river as much as they can, making sure that the night vision away from Snake. Snake do have a couple of cheeky wards that can still spot out. The rotations coming out from Suning, so they still have eyes on them.
Yeah, they've been able to get vision in certain areas. It's not going to cover the pit itself as control wards are in there, but areas around the pit. You saw one just on the bottom side of the river near the blue buff entrance, where they're able to place one there. It's a ward that hasn't been spotted for the entire duration, though they will start to see the rubble soon, and you can respect that the rubble will indicate where wards have been going from Snake, and they may actually check that one more diligently in future clips.
Suning again, just splitting up the map. They've got Xiao split pushing in the top lane. They have Knight in the bottom lane pushing that one in. He's trying to farm up as much as he can, working on Krugs as well while he's at it. And Suning taking this one very slow, not trying to force the issue or press anything against Snake Esports.
He's getting money. Knight is making bank. He's getting closer to that 3-item spike. 1,500 gold is the amount that you're looking towards for the Corki before he comes in and literally one-hits the Kog'Maw and has no idea what hits him. Azir's also a very fragile champion. So right now this game is slowed down. Snake, if nothing else, have been able to prevent a snowball. They've been able to prevent an objective from being secured. And suddenly this game goes from very one-sided to at least a small chance for Snake.
It's been Suning acquiring a small lead and trying to use that to make mid-game item power spikes like the 3-item Corki, who's moving towards that Infinity Edge as soon as he can. Fury's already completed his. He has the 3 main items that you'd expect on an attack speed on hit based AD carry.
Of course.
Whereas for the side of Snake, it's just been, how can we survive this game a little bit longer? Stall it out, take it to late game, where items start to be a little bit more relevant.
Yeah, and this is very scary for SNG Gaming. Yes, they have pretty good scaling when you look at a Corki and a Varus, but you try and compare that to Azir and Kog'Maw, you'd always give the advantage to those two in terms of late game relevance and how much damage they're able to output. Varus is a lower range champion, so whilst they have the same items, it's very risky to step up and be able to contribute that much. But they'll still do a decent amount of damage if they're able to execute on those fights, start it off appropriately. But it's only the one QSS from SNG Gaming. Yoon's job is very pivotal if a team fight breaks out and we get to late game.
You also have very heavy magic damage from both these teams. Both AD carries will be dishing out an abundance of magic damage. Then you have an Azir. There's also a Corki facing off from one another. Only really Nah from Snake as a pure physical damage build here. And then you can see as well the adaptation coming out from these two teams. You have adaptive Helm from both top laner from SNG, one coming out from Skarner in the jungle as well.
Now I think it's go time, Fish. I have a feeling that the 3-item Corki with his package secured, you can see how fast he's running towards bottom lane, has the teleport. This does feel like a very good opportunity for SNG Gaming, if ever there was one, to start to force for objectives. They are very strong. You compare that to their opponents. It's the components of a death cap. It's the makings of a hurricane for what it's going to be for Crystal. They haven't completed them. SNG Gaming are definitively stronger. If ever they want to take a fight, it is now.
Luckily for Snake, Crystal is able to finally pick up his Hurricane, so he's able to meet the item power spike that Fury has at the moment. As you mentioned, Gorko not able to get that death cap. There's a 3-item Corki at the moment, but SNG playing to SNG's playstyle, still splitting on the bottom side of the map. SofM looking to see if he can find a cheeky engage against Fury there. Tags him with the E, but doesn't get anything out of it. Flandre now being rotated down into the bottom lane. He's a level behind Knight. Knight fancies his chances underneath Snake's inner turret in the bottom lane.
Yeah, pretty much half health him. It's health stacking from Flandre. There's no real armor to be seen, and SNG Gaming have advanced more aggressively towards the Baron pit, knowing full well that Knight with the package, with the ability to outrange and poke Flandre onto turret, especially when he hits Mega actually, will start to become overbearing. If nothing else, the turret will drop.
Yeah. He's got rapid fire cannon as well, so he can slowly chip away at that turret. Flandre is going back to base. Already hit Mega, so can't quite find a big TP flank. Instead, just going back, picks up a couple more items and probably will go back down into the bottom lane or group up with the rest of Snake. SNG, however, being a little bit cheeky here, rotating around the backside of the Baron pit.
Flandre's all tuckered out. He's not going to be able to contribute. But the reason that SNG Gaming are walking respectfully around the backside is because Flandre was missing. They'd have to speculate that he was looking for a teleport, so they give it 5 seconds, they calm down, and they make sure that he's going to show himself back in the bottom lane, and then immediately back into the river for round 2 of the sweeping of vision. This is just a dance that's going to continue until someone makes the play, until something gives.
Both SNG and Snake are playing this fine at the moment though, but you have to think the onus is on SNG to make that big proactive play. 5,000 gold up, they're slowly chipping away at the bottom lane turret, but Snake are holding for now.
We are running out of control ward slots for Snake. They've got 2 stopwatches and 2 Doran's shields, contributing to what is going to be limiting factors with how many stopwatches they can hold. So it's a bit of an awkward position for Snake if the vision battle is prolonged. But so far, they've been able to get free recalls off constantly. They've been able to go back to base and not have SNG Gaming start those objectives. Things have been fine for them.
They hold on. Gorko goes back to base now. Picks up a couple more components, whereas Rabadon's finally completes it. So he bridges that item power spike that Knight had against him. Knight has been farming this entire time, so you'd have to think his next recall will give him another item for himself. So they look to see if they could try and force an initiation. Xiao popping the ultimate with Knight close by, doesn't get anything for it.
Nope, it is a very low cooldown as Sion goes with the ultimate. Frozen Heart, Abyssal, the other item. I've already forgot. Adaptive Helm, there you go. Is completed for him. So he's going to have a decent amount of CDR there. He'll have the ultimate up soon enough. Pretty much halfway to being back already. Nice little attempt from SNG Gaming, trying to diversify their strategies. Trying to chop and change things as they see. If they put 2 people bottom and find Flandre, then he's pretty much guaranteed to die compared to what it was before.
And the dance continues. We see a Last Whisper being picked up by Crystal as his next item of choice, whereas it's just a BF sword from Fury. So AD carry is still relatively even in terms of how expensive their builds are. It's really in the mid lane where the difference is between the 2 teams besides the tanks. Top side of the map, Knight just has an extra component in comparison to what Gorko has. So you'd have to think, if a full 5-5-5 broke out, only the experience difference between the two teams is what's going to separate them.
You're looking at a very tanky jungler, however, you're also going to note that Crystal will be able to demolish his health bar. So Hacker having the Warmogs isn't looking for all-in engages, so to speak. Xiaowao is very tanky, though, in contrast to the Sejuani, who's playing a bit more crowd control defensive. SNG Gaming, they're threatening around the objective here. They're still looking for that moment to strike. Boy, are they finding it difficult.
Well, they're trying to use time to get in the back lines now. Let's see if they get there. Hutia using his ultimate quite defensively as Zietard is there as well. SNG don't find the initiation they were quite looking for. Snake defused that. Instead, they're going straight on towards Hacker, bringing him back towards the Kog'Maw. Pops his stopwatch nice and early, try and stay alive in this fight. SofM doesn't get the pick he wanted. And again, it just diffuses into nothing.
SofM uses the ultimate, but so does the Varus, Fury, and Tahm Kench, of course, using theirs respectively. Back one more time with another classic bush camp.
Snake might get an objective for this. They're trying to move towards that mid lane where mid lane out turret is low. Scrying Orb was just placed down there, so they know that SNG are not on this Baron buff. Snake should be able to pick up that outer turret. And now SNG decide they want to turn towards Baron.
This is the moment for Snake if they can find a team fight.
They jump in, they get on top of Flandre. Flandre takes a lot of damage in this fight. He's forced to flash away. Great Q being used by Sion to knock out the team from Snake. SNG, though, they can't, again, find a good initiation. Snake get an outer turret for themselves and slowly claw their way back into the match.
They don't have mid-priority SNG Gaming. They choose to bait the Baron when realistically they could have just hit it in the first place. You've got a Sejuani with the Warmogs. You can afford to tank it, then disengage. They don't choose to. Now, however, they want a team fight, not by a large amount, but enough to set them back up for the Baron.
Snake trying to get some cheeky recalls. Flandre's trying to teleport closer. Hutia is not in this fight, however, cancels his teleport, making sure he continue walking. But again, Snake get what they want. They stopped them from taking down Baron. They got a couple of recalls in, so SNG have a gold lead, but it might not matter too much in a big fight.
Relatively true, but a flash is gone from Crystal. A flash is gone from Flandre, SofM, and Hutia for the side of Snake. That is a lot of summoner spells expended just to get out of the fight. SNG Gaming have theirs. This is still advantageous for SNG.
They have all their summoners except for a teleport on Knight. Hutia leads the charge. Big five-man knocker comes out from Prom. Here goes Flandre. Can't get a big nah, but still throws Hacker into a wall. And Snake are winning this team fight. Yoon goes down. You have to expect Xiaowao's going down shortly after. There's the execute. Flandre gets it. Turns him into his passive. Snake, they've turned around a team fight after losing majority of this match. Fury's even going to fall to the one as well. Bumps him on the head. Gives him the Super Mario Brothers. And they turn towards Baron.
And there you go, Snake. The team composition has well and truly scaled. You can see the apprehension from SNG Gaming, not knowing if they could go. And now it's just a desperation steal from Hacker to try his hardest to jump into the pit.
Does have flash, has a blast cone there as well, jumps in, but no, SofM has the safe hands, gets the pick onto Baron. Now it's going to be Flandre jumping over the wall, gets another kill for Snake. They've completely turned around this match.
Baron, an extra kill on the escape as well onto Hacker, and suddenly the team composition is scaled. You get to see this fight one more time. Sion goes on to Braum. The Braum ultimate hits everybody, and Azir and Crystal this entire time are dealing damage. This efficient damage output, when we mentioned how well it scales compared to SNG Gaming's composition, is going to be enough to be able to win them pretty much the rest of this team fight for free. Flandre just needs to stand in front. Hootie just needs to stand in front. And SofM was just peeling with the Skarner ultimate. Very easy team fight win. And it shouldn't be that easy.
Consolation prize for SNG is they get a elemental dragon for themselves, but now they have 3 clouds in an ocean, not the type of elementals you need to try and fight against a team like Snake. Gold is dead even. Snake still have a Baron buff to work with, so you'd expect them to try and get small incremental advantages. But again, this is not the first game where we've seen SNG start the game incredibly well, pick up a nice gold lead for themselves, use the way they like to play, which is split pushing and opening up the map, and then turn into a 5-on-5 around 25-30 minutes into the game, which goes completely in the other team's favor.
Yeah, now the gold is pretty much even. There's 1,000 between the teams. Baron should probably secure another turret for Snake. The biggest problem, though, is the composition above all else. SNG Gaming felt this need to go, but just couldn't find an opportunity to do it for all of the mid to later stages of that game. Snake give themselves momentum, they buy themselves map control, and suddenly everything's just turned upside down. And with the team composition that Snake have, now the gold is even, should just be considered ahead.
Credit to them. They were making a couple of mistakes early in the match, but they held on, they survived, and now it's late game. They found the fight they were looking for. 2,000 gold up. Sorry, 1,000 gold up and still pushing with this Baron. But SofM flashes in. He's able to lock him down. Gets Fury. You have no support to help you out of this team fight as they go for the full 5-on-4 brawl. SNG are trying to retreat back towards their base. Flandre throws SofM back into the team. Good damage here coming out from this combo. Crystal gets the kill. And they're going to be able to break the base against SNG.
And no QSS available. SofM will find himself the target. Yoon unable to assist. The base broken. And 2 members dead from SNG Gaming.
Flandre's gone back to base, does have the teleport available to try and delay the minions dying to turrets. GH4cker going back as well, does have unsealed spellbook.
They're going to go towards the end, it looks like. Fish, they've committed.
They're trying their hardest, trying to push through the rest of the SNG players. Hacker and Fury have long respawn timers. 10 seconds on Varus to come back into this team. First Nexus turret is going to fall. Snake's frontline is at half health, however, so they do decide to back out eventually, but they were trying to see if they could end the game right there.
Sion has a lot of control of minions as well, able to push them back, but instead of just ending the game, they'll get themselves another turret after the inhibitor drops, and they can go back, they can reset, they can spend the wealth of gold they've just secured for themselves, and suddenly Snake find themselves more than just in the driver's seat. They find themselves pretty much just winning. If Flandre was mega nah when this engage happened and it would have just been a full ace, the game would have been over. But SofM found the chance, that one shot he had. He finds the AD carry separated from the support. And that's all you need to do when there's no Quicksilver sashes to be seen.
And that's what we said during the mid-game. That could have been how Snake get back into the match. Instead, it's how they try to close it out. Finding Fury or Knight when Yoon's not around would be a great pick, but he finds him in a 5-on-5 situation. Yoon was not prepared for that one, did not flash forward to try and save his AD carry. And now the QSS is coming back to bite SNG. Snake, however, the shoe is now on the other foot. They're the ones with the 5,000 gold lead. Late game against SNG Gaming.
I do find myself wondering how much gold Fury has, and if you could just sell the stopwatch for a QSS. That's one of those questions that I can't really answer just yet. We'll have to see if gold scores do come up, because it's something that can change the whole face of the game. If you do get caught out of position, with a Kog'Maw, with an Azir, dealing damage behind a Skarner, if you're ever locked down for 2 seconds and they're hitting you, you are going to die.
I'll go for the Zhonya's if you have that much gold at the moment. But he's not. He's still holding on to it, still yet to use it. Hasn't had the opportunity to use it so far in this match. Snake are going to continue pressuring the top side of the map. Top lane in a turret is still standing for SNG.
Against the Sion, it's very difficult to continue to push. Against the Varus and a Corki, who have the Hurricane and Corki's range damage as well, realistically, Snake are looking towards the next Baron. They're looking towards that next final nail in the coffin that'll be the major objective. Stop the ability to control minions for SNG Gaming and end the game.
Sad part for SNG is this is the part of the match where they really want to be ahead in terms of gold, because now you've got Baron coming up. Next Dragon is going to be an Elder, perfect for SNG to try and split apart Snake, but with Snake having the gold lead and the objectives as well as breaking the base, they're going to dictate the flow of this match. Those two major objectives are under their control.
Best case scenario is that Elder spawns at a very similar time to the Baron and actually gives an opportunity for Snake, or for SNG Gaming rather, to split apart the map. But so far, with the control completely shifting around, you're waiting for the tides to turn for SNG Gaming. That desperation play is needed, but they're also just fighting an uphill battle. Snake had scaled and they found a team fight. SNG Gaming, I mean, they already were scaled and they lost the team fight, so they need perfection.
There's still going to be some time before those objectives spawn. Just over 2 minutes for the Baron buff. Dragon will be slightly behind Baron. It was taken down rather quickly by SNG after they respawn and try to capitalize on Snake going back to base with the Baron buff.
So the vision dance, the vision control and battle should be entirely around the red quadrant, red side quadrant, where SNG Gaming are now on your screens, trying to get any kind of control around the Baron. When Snake have control, they have the river. And by having the river, it is just so much easier for them to walk from the river to engage in the red buff. That's where the real dance starts.
They also have major items being picked up. You can see 6 items for Flandre, even going towards Hurricane to apply not only Black Cleaver, but also the Frozen Mallet that he's picked up. SofM's getting tankier and tankier. Crystal is already at 6 items complete with Guardian Angel as his last item of choice.
I'll be honest with you, the way that this game started, Fish, I didn't think we'd get to 40 minutes with Snake being in the lead at all. We saw very clean closeouts from SNG in their last set. It's completely shifted in favor. They couldn't find the team fight. They couldn't find the close. Now the Elder has spawned. very good opportunity for SNG Gaming for that desperation fight. They can't afford to give it to Snake for free.
Baron is coming up in 20 seconds. Not enough for SNG to try and go for it. They try to force the fight instead. Taken away by Tom Catch. SNG gets it. Huge steals the Elder Dragon. And this might be the opportunity they want to go for. Flandre turns into Mega, but he's forced to hop away. And with that, now they can move towards Baron Pit.
Tom Catch just sticks his tongue out, takes the giant Elder Dragon, why not? Straight over to the Baron buff as well. With the Elder Dragon, SNG Gaming have found that miracle they need. On the back of Yoon's Tom Catch, Snake teleporting, they want to fight it, but how do they fight the Elder Dragon buff?
SofM had safe hands the first time round against Hacker, but he is no match for the Catfish. As SNG get not only Elder Dragon stolen from Snake, but they move towards Baron. They pick that up for themselves as well. It's only a 2,000 gold difference 41 minutes into the match, and now SNG, they're going to try and push for the base.
And all 5 of them are Usain Bolt as well, Fish. It's 3 Cloud Drakes that are going to get empowered by the Elder Dragon buff. About 5 Cloud Drakes worth of movement speed. There's your steal. The smite was used by SofM. It was not used by Hacker. He just mistimes the damage. You hate to see it.
Now even items. 4 elemental dragons being buffed up by SNG. With Baron buff, they have an opportunity to really try and take it to Snake. Snake once again have to sit back. They have to relax. They have to try and wave clear against SNG. 2 minutes and 45 seconds for them to stall out.
Interestingly as well, the Bloodthirster is the item of choice for Knight. Doesn't go for a Void Staff or a Last Whisper to amplify his damage against all the resistances you're seeing from the Cogmore, from the support even of Snake, as well as the 2 tanks on the lineup. Means that if he can kill the Azir, if he can get onto the Azir, he'll one-hit him. But the rest of the team is reasonably tanky against him.
Maybe trying to rely on that Gatling gun. We'll have to see if Knight is able to dish out the damage that his team needs. SNG now trying to push Snake down into the bottom lane. Got a decent wave here. 3 Baroned up cannon minions. They still have Elder Dragon to work with as well. That will expire shortly, but enough time for them to try and push for this turret. That's taken down very low. Fury and Knight make short work of it. Flandre just sits helplessly and watches. He's about to go Mega, but uses the dash away again. Fury throughout the ultimate trying to collapse onto Flandre. Does not connect, and now it's SNG who have broken the base.
It felt more so like a zoning ultimate from Fury there, trying to prevent any kind of Mega Nara engages as they committed towards the inhibitor going down, and now they have broken the base of Snake. They have turned the game completely around one more time after the mid-game hiccups. We hit the late game for League of Legends, and whilst the Elder Dragon goes, the Baron is still there. They have got some time. They may look towards a second inhib, and they might even be able to secure that one before Snake have a chance of turning it around.
Package is available for Knight and still has his own teleport as well, so he's pushing on the top side of the map. The rest of SNG just grouping around in the mid lane. Elder Dragon has expired. However, they still have a bit of Baron buff to work with, a minute of that.
It is important as well that SofM has the ultimate and there's no QSSs for anybody except the Tahm Kench. Respect still has to be paid to the Skarner. They still have to be very afraid of him, and that flash is nearing ever close to being available.
He's trying to get on top of Knight. As he flashed for it, SofM was looking, but package available for Knight means he can get back to safety. SNG now with the man advantage, looking to try and push through that mid lane. Good damage in the mid lane in a turret. Eunice trying to save Xiao out to keep things up for SNG, but again, they retreat and play this one nice and slow.
That was a weird visual image. You ever seen a Gargoyle Stoneplate Scion devoured by a Tahm Kench? It's like 3 times his size. That shouldn't be possible. Tahm Kench is a snake.
Eunice showing that anything's possible for him in this match. Already stealing a 1 Elder Dragon.
Yeah, I can't believe that happened. And Tahm Kench Q stole an Elder Dragon away from SofM Skarner. Speaking of, he's actually switched towards the Ghost. He's stuck inside his base. Yep. What's he going to smite?
And it's still a long time before Baron buff comes back up and is online. About 3 minutes before Baron. A little bit more for Elder Dragon, I believe.
Yeah,
so he's going to be as fast as he can. He's actually used his Ghost. Why? I don't know. I think he thought he had Smite because he was trying to take away blue buff.
He wanted to catch them recalling, I believe, in the bush, but they all ran the long way to safety before they recalled. So respect paid by SNG Gaming. I don't know if he tried to ghost a jungle camp. We'll have to check that one out on the Hawkeye Fish later.
Look, now we are in the late game. Everyone has picked up 6 items. Or most players have picked up 6 items, barring the junglers and supports at the moment. And it's going to boil down the team composition. SNG have the bottom lane inhibitor taken down. Snake have broken the inhibitor turret in the mid lane. So they do have the Elder Dragon advantage if they pick it up. They'd have more elementals. But really curious to see how these two teams attack the map at the moment.
Very powerful Elder Dragon buff for SNG Gaming if they wanted to sit there and wait for it. It is not 8.4, so it is not the guaranteed GG, but with 3 clouds and an ocean, just the fact that you can empower that, not for the move speed even, but for the damage amplification, is very severe and will help SNG Gaming out a ton towards ending this game. For the side of Snake, they need the Baron buff to actually end the game, to push past the Scion. And to be able to secure that Baron, they have to walk through SNG Gaming right now and catch them as they look towards the objectives. And that vision does come first, yes. But it's so hard to secure the vision when they've lost most of the control around the entire map.
We start to see the 6 items being sold as well. A Phantom Dancer gets picked up by Knight. On top of that, we see Mercure Scimitar being picked up by Crystal, selling away his Wit's End for that item. Even Fury selling his Wit's End. Goes for the Maw of Malmortius instead.
Yeah, there you go.
Gives you a lot of lifesteal when it does get popped, and also tons of magic damage coming out from Snake's lineup.
Yes, it's fine. It is fine to pick up. I just sit there and, you know, I don't want to harp on it forever. But there is a Skarner on the other team, and QSS is not a bad purchase. It's got lifesteal and stuff if you want to upgrade it to, you know, Mercurials like what Crystal's done.
There's not much armor on the side of Snake, just a couple of items for the tanks being picked up.
If he loses this game, I'll be upset. We'll put it that way. Otherwise, he's okay. But if the Skarner gets him and he dies, I will make it known how upsetting that is.
It's already happened once.
It has. Cost them an inhibitor and almost the game.
Yoon has been the hero so far for SNG though. Stolen Elder Dragon could be the man that tries to stop SofM's engage.
There is an AoE crowd control on almost everybody as well though. So if Yoon's purpose is to save the carry that Skarner ults, if Snake time it properly as a Braum ultimate, there is a Azir as well that can go forwards, and there's a Mega Gnar that can use all of the AoE crowd control that he has as well. So keeping them alive if they're going forwards is difficult to do.
But somehow they stay alive. They're maximizing their damage. Somehow. Even I don't believe it's all that possible.
He's ghosted. He's angry.
He's angry. He looks to try and go and see if he can move forward.
They were touching his Raptors. Never touch his Raptors.
Look, it's 47 minutes in, and SofM still knows the timer for those Raptors. But also pinging out towards Baron. They've cleared out the vision.
Looks like with that they wanted to start it, but ultimately I think they want that pick first instead. Snake, they've actually secured the inside track to the Baron, but is it what they want?
They try to group up. Fury uses his ultimate. You can see one QSS already being used. I believe that was Houdier trying to run away from that chain of corruption. So I think we're grouping up looking for a fight. They have package on Knight as well. Big team fighting tool.
This battle dance is getting very delicate. The package may be the difference at the moment. Knight's trying his best. He's stepping up in an attempt to push them back. It gives complete control of the river to the side of SNG Gaming, but Snake, they are advancing.
Hacker has shown himself top side of map that allows Snake to move a little bit further forward. You see Knight is not doing all that much damage to SofM or to Flandre when he gets those couple of auto attacks down. No magic or armor penetration for the Corki.
Because he has the Bloodthirster, chose not to go towards the Void Staff or anything of the likes. More duelist in his build, more duelist in his itemization choices. And if a team fight breaks out, that could be his undoing.
Even Knight's Vow being picked up by Houdier, giving Crystal that extra damage reduction, which Fury does not have at the moment. Only Locket's being picked up by both the jungler as well as support for SNG Gaming. And it's just an ARAM dance in the mid lane at the moment. Baron buff is up and it's online. Elder Dragon still yet to respawn. Still has some time before that comes up.
Yeah, and the Baron's just been looked at this entire time instead. Oh, I mean, ultimately, we're waiting for SNG Gaming or Snake to do something. This is a very delicate dance. Snake, they've started off the Baron because Knight is bottom.
He's trying to teleport in. SofM's right on top of him. He has to cancel. Now this is a strict 4-on-5. Knight is trying to beeline himself to the top side of the map. SNG trying to delay them from fighting. There goes Yoon. He's able to save the jungler. Gets a big lock of ice line, but Flandre jumps in, gets cancelled, still kills the Tom catch. One kill down for Snake. Now Knight has finally rejoined the fight. Banner of Command used in the mid lane by Xiao, trying to push that one in. Knight's trying to shove minions down as well. Snake used a lot of ultimates, a lot of summoners. There goes Fladre. He turns mini, tried to go for the Mega Knight, but Hacker's in trouble. Takes too much damage. Fladre gets that kill. 2 carries still alive for Suning. Xiao still the main tank of the team, trying to kite this one back. They don't have the penetration damage from the 2 carries though. They have to fight this one really slow. Fladre still trying to lock down Xiao. Pops the gargoyles, tries to stay alive a little bit longer, but it's not going to be enough. They burst through him. Only the carries alive. Fury is dead. Knight's the only one left up. He has to make some sort of a hero play, but it's 4 members strong for Snake at the moment. They look back towards the Baron.
Snake do not have a lot of resources left available. Now, Fladre does have the teleport. Knight, in a desperate attempt to trade here, will be able to get the Elder Dragon. No one from Snake is responding. That's the best case scenario for SNG Gaming, given how that fight started. The teleport positioning from Knight was not very good, so the teleport was going to be cancelled, and then a 4v5 happens. And SNG Gaming just threw everything in the kitchen sink to stop it.
They do get the Elder Dragon though, so SNG have some saving grace once again. Although SofM is able to get the pick onto Hacker, restart a team fight. We're back to square one. It's Baron against Elder Dragon.
And this is what I hope we get to see a replay of it, because something that will get me to no end is Hacker. Yes, he's caught out of position. He is a tank. The response from Yoon is that he has to flash and eat him. But Yoon's not as tanky as Hacker. That maybe it's not the correct move to flash forwards and save your tank from being out of position when your carries need to do damage.
And we saw exactly what you were talking about. As soon as Hacker got spat out, he was stuck in crowd control for the next 4 seconds or so. SNG tried to delay Snake as long as they could, but eventually they, one by one, they fell. It did take quite some time for them to take down the tank, so Yoon was not able to get the grey health either, so he fell slightly faster than you would expect.
700 CS on the Corki at 51 minutes. That is a ridiculously high number. We're past the point where CS matters, so it's just flamboyant numbers that you get to see. Add a bit of fragrance to the game. Pretty much everybody now should be at full builds. Junglers maybe not so much. You're waiting for one more item on SofM. That should be the last one.
Look, Snake got a 4-for-1 trade in that last team fight. But because of how slow they killed individual members of SNG, they were up in time to defend their base.
We also have no control wards for Snake. Like 0 item slots for control wards. There is a Glacial Shroud for SofM, and there is a stopwatch for Hoodia.
Get rid of that damn stopwatch.
There's no control wards available. At least the support of Yoon has one here for SNG. You can purchase 3. That's 3 more than Snake have.
Alright, what does Yoon do first? Does he upgrade his QSS into a Mercurial Scimitar or sell his control wards for another item?
I am a believer in never getting rid of that 6th slot being for wards. I think it's just too powerful to have control wards at every stage in the game. Unless you're inside your own base, or you're playing Zyra and have 3,000 gold and want a death cap. You know what I mean? Like, I can understand why you'd want a stopwatch, but you have a cleanse and a door, like a big door. Like that door blocks stuff. Fish.
53 minutes into this match. We've already had a team fight in the late game.
He's ghosted.
4-on-1. SofM's going for it again.
He's
trying to run straight at them. Haven't seen one of these successful ghosts so far from SofM. He just wants to run quick.
Message has been received. Of course, the Baron buff outlasts the Elder Dragon buff. That's what we're waiting for at the moment. Snake, now that the Elder is gone, start to press up, start to threaten. They utilize that Baron and should buff the minions and give them an entry here towards looking at the inhib.
Knight's got the package though. Some of the spells are back up for most players. See, Unsealed Spellbook getting it back up a little bit faster for Snake in this late game. Hacker and CRL don't have flashes at the moment. They will come back up shortly. Do SNG give away this inhibitor? Do they try and fight for it? How much does Snake try and push for this? There's the door being put up by Hood. Yeah, good damage onto the inhibitor. Flandre as well as Squawk try to get as much damage down into the backlines during this time. SNG give up the mid lane inhibitor, and Snake will retreat once again.
And Snake have minion control on the top side of the map as well. During the duration of the Baron buff, they've been able to secure at least a second lane of control. Now, they don't have bottom pushing towards them at the moment. It's pretty much in the middle of the map. But they can utilize this wave, maybe get one more turret. The package should be gone very soon from Knight.
Mercurial Scimitar picked up by Knight. He also swaps out for a Void Star. A little bit less crit, but now has penetration damage as well as a way to get out of crowd control. There it is, right there. Mercurial Scimitar being used, and Suning trying to turn this one around. On top of Hoodia, good damage onto the support. Flandre though, mega not enough. Yoon is able to eat up Xiao QSS and keep his entire team alive.
Yoon just clutches the heck out of that one with the ultimate, with the QSS to keep himself alive. Flandre is not allowed to hit anybody with that Mega Gnar. You mentioned the Mercurial Scimitar. Well, it baited SOFM, and now he has to press tab and see who his targets are, because they start to become less. As SNG Gaming become cognizant to the Skarner late game. The one person could end the game idea.
Perfect counter coming out from Suning. Negate all the initiation that Snake came into that team fight with. However, they're not able to turn it around. They still lose a top lane outer turret. Gold is dead even, and they're going to stall this game out a little bit longer.
Of course, you're seeing Fury with the first ZZ Rot portal of the game, the second picked up by Xiao. They'll sell their boots, they pick it up, they'll then sell. We got a third. There we go. Let's go, Knight. It is time for Rot portals, boys. This is great. It's actually my favorite part of the game. I know Quickshot keeps stats for it. So.
Well, he's already got the Merc boots back up already. So that's one ZZ Rot being used top side, one being used in the bottom lane.
And one mid lane.
And one in the mid lane.
Well, it's actually going bottom.
Oh no, disaster. Bad placement. Or they
It's
could be
alright.
trying to push bottom lane for that inhibitor with double.
Let it go. Let the waves go. As long as there's no super minions, there's actually a very... If you put a Rot portal in a wave where there is super minions, it is worse than to put it somewhere else, because the super minion waves stack up to be larger when they crash.
So the Rot portals don't push out too far off of the base, maybe to where the inner turret or slightly further is, but Banner of Command was used by Xiao Ao in the bottom lane. So that wave will slowly push back towards the inhibitor. Yes, Flandre has teleport, yes, he's a physical damage dealer, but 56 minutes into the match, you need everyone grouped up at this point.
Yeah, and he's going to be grouped, and they're still looking for these picks now, Snake. The Baron is not up just yet, so it's control of the red side jungle. They haven't even looked towards the minions at the moment. Red buff seemed to be that first step. So now they'll have to control the waves. This game's going to have a lot of time bought for it by what SNG Gaming have done. They've bought minutes. They haven't bought themselves a map victory just yet, however.
And again, Elder Dragon and Baron were taken roughly at the same time. Because of how long Elder Dragon takes to spawn, Baron will be back up and both teams can dance around the objective for a little bit, try and delay time before Suning can look towards Elder again.
And hallelujah, it only took 57 minutes for the Mercurial Scimitars to be seen by Fury.
We did it!
We've hit late game. Now, if it doesn't take 57 minutes in the forthcoming games, we're good. We're good.
You've also got 6 items on Crystal, selling his boots to get his own Mercurial Scimitar. I believe Fury even went for the Ninja Tabby here, swapping out his own boots. Not sure if that was an initial pickup, but I believe he had Berserker Greaves earlier.
That's not his boots, but was that Phantom Dancer as his 6th item for the move speed, I guess?
I believe so. Phantom Dancer taken up.
There is no mobility for everybody. If they, like, all of Snake, the carry selling boots means that they are very hard to actually, it's very hard to chase people, and it's very easy to get caught out of position that way. So they're reliant on summoner spells to mean most of the difference. SNG Gaming have committed to keeping their boots. They've decided they need them a lot, and I agree with that because the Skarner is running at them.
This is the part of the match where you think, well, I wish I had Gathering Storm in this game. Would have been a big difference, but Baron has respawned. Carries are in the mid lane. Bottom lane's being pushed in for Snake. This is a good start for them. Instead, they go for Flandre first. Can they kill him? Yes, they do. 4 on 5. Suning now need to go for that initiation to kind of kick things off. Hacker does not have ultimate available. Instead, they try to move towards mid lane. Pings down to bottom, though, where Snake have a massive minion wave pushing.
Knight may have wanted to just recall, clear bottom, and then teleport back, but they choose to stay. They've chosen to commit. Minions are winning the game for Snake slowly in side lanes, but SNG Gaming going straight down mid.
Baron buff doesn't matter if SNG don't need minions to push in against this inhibitor. It's a full minute and even more added onto that before Flandre gets back up. Still, Guokwo throwing out his Sand Soldiers, trying to delay SNG from moving towards that bottom lane inhibitor. They get mid lane inhibitor and inhibitor turret. Bottom lane was not able to be taken down by SNG. Instead, their bottom lane inhibitor turret has taken quite a bit of damage from that minion wave.
It has taken a beating, and it may actually still go down. They're going to race towards trying to save it, at the same time saving top lane as it pushed forwards. Rot portals can't do anything when there's no minions to actually push out.
And when Rot portal expires as well, which was curious because Banner of Command was used by Xiao in the bottom lane, but still, Snake setting up such a big minion wave meant that it didn't matter at the end.
Yeah, Exactly. And side lane control is always going to be the biggest deal, especially with fights that happen around Baron. So the fact that Snake were able to execute on that first step and then have the vision, then commit to the objective was very good from them. And unfortunately for Flandre and for Snake, he was caught out of position. The SNG Gaming were able to lock him down. A very good comp for doing exactly that. Varus and Sejuani. So now we find ourselves at this crossroads where everybody is incredibly strong, but the Baron is there for Snake.
Knight sells his boots, picks up a rock portal, places it down in the bottom lane, goes back, he doesn't want his boots anymore, gets a static shoot for himself, and they're going for an initiation. Flandre is here though, but they're looking to try and lock down SofM. Hoodie soaking up a lot of damage. That mid lane inhibitor is living with a sliver of health at the moment, and Suning hold on once again.
They save it, barely, but they do save it. This game continues.
And Elder Dragon is going to be coming back up in about a minute. That's all that's left for Suning to hold on for and try and force that objective. But bottom lane inhibitor turret is low. Mid lane inhibitor is open to be taken. Snake still have 2 points of Suning's base to attack quite well. The question is, do they dance over this objective or do they push straight towards the base?
I mean, if you're SNG Gaming, you take the Elder Dragon dance as long as the Baron is no longer available. And until that Baron is gone, which is a whole minute, I don't think they can really afford to do anything other than control mid lane and then react to Snake's plays. And if that is the Elder Dragon, then they walk over. If it's pushing mid lane, then they're good. They're taking the risk. But the first step against the Baron team is controlling mid.
This time, Suning have the position advantage in the side lanes. Top lane and bottom lane are pushing in quite heavily for them against Snake. They're holding around.
He wants to get the engage off. They got Flandre.
Oh, they get Flandre. There's the package right on top of the Nas face. He tries to jump away, but Xiaoao gets the kill. Now, Suning have a 4 on 5. Xiaoao flashing forward. Who would deal with a big ultimate to slow down Suning? SofM tries to pull back Hacker. Not going to be enough. Saved by Yoon. The carries from Snake dealing enough damage in that fight. Snake hold on, but they lose their top laner again. Now, Elder Dragon for Suning.
Twice now, Flandre's caught out of position, and yes, they'll have to seed themselves the Elder Dragon. Secured 100% by Snake. Flandre cannot afford to be making these mistakes, but SNG Gaming, once they commit to the fight, they are lucky they back away and have enough health to speak of. Hudia plays it very well, times the ultimate to the last second, and Guogo and Crystal were free hitting the entire time.
And again, patch 8.2, so this is not the incredibly strong Elder Dragon, but still you have 4 elementals being picked up by Suning. Yes, 3 of them are Cloud Dragons, 1 is an Ocean Dragon, but that still buffs up the damage, the burn over time that Suning need to win these late game team fights by a significant margin. They're good minion control, so there's a massive wave in the top lane. Crystal is trying to see if he can clear out this mini wave before Suning push in. At 62 minutes in, they engage on towards Cogball. Great cleanse, great flash out, but they still don't have Flandre. He's 7 seconds from respawning. Big crit lands onto the Cogball. Good damage onto the top lane inhibitor turret. Suning are going to try and push forward for it.
But it's good work from SNG Gaming. They get both summoner spells from the Cogball. His job is now incredibly difficult. Guogo has to bear most of this right now. He has to withstand most of the pressure. They have to be able to save this inhibitor from going down, or they have no way outside of their base, and they do, but they do it barely.
And we're now officially at the longest match this split of the LPL. 61 minutes and 9 seconds. EDG against Snake was the longest match we've had so far. Now Suning against Snake. We've gone to 63 minutes. There's something about the Snake pit in Chongqing that makes matches go on forever. And Snake, they were down from the early stage of this match. Suning played so well, but they're not going to go down without a fight, and they're still holding on and trying to take it in game number 1.
We saw caution, we saw reservations, and then we saw indecisions as we hit the mid stages of the game, and suddenly it just continues to extend, continues to protract. We've got 800 CS onto Knight in the mid lane for the Corki. There's no point in having that much farm anymore. We are past the point of farming. We're just controlling minion waves. The gold doesn't matter. They're going straight towards controlling waves. That's not an ult for a real purpose.
Xiao even charging. That's how fast he wants to get towards that lane. Didn't give him too much distance.
Gives him enough. He's able to push out the wave. They want to utilize the remnants of the Elder Dragon buff, if nothing else.
Regardless, if you hear that Scion charge 64 minutes into the match,
run.
you have to be scared. Flandre just hit Mega though. Has teleport available. Suning can wait that one out. They know that he just hit Mega now as well.
That's one of the 2 sounds in League of Legends, I think, that really freaks you out. That and Rengar's very loud burp. That's the other one that really gets you. When he burps, you run.
Come on, after watching a Gigabyte Marines play it last year
Ooh,
as well,
Nocturne scares you.
you.
That's the other one.
There have been many times where I've had to jump away from my keyboard when he says that and suddenly a Nocturne hits you. But moving back into this match. Late game, we've seen lots of back and forth team fights. Snake were winning a few, getting 4-on-1 trades. Now it's Suning after picking up Elder Dragon that had that advantage in the last team fight. Next major objective to spawn is going to be Baron buff. Staggered with the Elder Dragon this time round again. That's coming up in a minute.
Elder Dragon number 3. Baron buff number I'm not counting. There has been a whole lot of them. The objectives are, again, we mentioned this from the team compositions much earlier in the game. If you're just joining us, welcome. It's been a long game. Earlier we mentioned, of course, that without the Baron buff, it's very difficult to actually end the games now. And we're past the point where that really matters too much. It's more of an enabler now. If you don't have the Baron buff, it's a reason to fight, firstly. And then secondly, if a single kill happens, you're looking at inhibitors breaking, the game potentially ending just from one person being dead. SNG Gaming, they have kicked it off. It's Snake. They're responding.
This is going to melt so fast as well, but instead Snake tried to face check. Hudia taking a lot of damage against a big shield. Frontliner SofM not taking too much himself. Hacker's forced to back out due to the damage that comes out from Crystal. Fury wants to turn around, but he can't get too close to these carries. Snake now, they're the ones that are trying to retreat. SofM still looking to see if he can jump in and get a pick with his ultimate, not able to do so.
And Snake still have mid lane control at the end of that fight. Warmogs will get the tanks back up to full health and everything subsides, but Fury, he goes towards top lane. He wants to threaten. SNG Gaming, they still want to threaten. They don't want to let Snake just push mid lane, knowing they have control.
Baron at this stage, so tanky, but they still shred through it. 6,000 hit points. Snake finally get control over the pit.
And they're pushing mid, so they can rotate at any time they want towards mid and get the inhib. They just don't want the Baron to go down for free. Snake still have the late game team fighting composition when it comes to range as well. But you've got a flank from Hacker. They're trying to route them.
Knight's gone back to base. They actually pinged that bottom lane has a massive mini wave. He's going to teleport down there. Knight's going to try and see if he can be a hero and end the game right here. He's got package as well.
Oh no, Snake have to recall. If nothing else, it should be a Baron, but Snake have committed to a fight.
They sent Flandre down. SofM's going to try and charge in. Fury denies him with his ultimate. Used his heal. Yoon's even flashed away. It's Knight against Flandre in the bottom lane with the other 4 members from both teams still dancing around Baron. In fact, Snake says, what the heck? We're going straight towards mid lane.
Teleport. Tom Kench is going as well. They've committed to ending.
Everyone for Sunig's down here now. 4 members. Flandre, what can you do against this unstoppable squad? They've done it. They do the do-si-do. Now Snake are here. Is it enough to stop them? They take out Fury. They get one. Xiao's gonna fall next. Oh my goodness, Snake. They put up the defense. Only the passive from Sire left up. Inhibitors respawn as well. And in a Snake pit, you do not escape alive.
SNG Gaming tried to do the impossible, but Snake hold. They get the team fight. 4 members dead for 50 seconds. You can hear the crowd. They're electric. Snake may have just ended the game.
They're trying to push down the mid lane. Look at the respawn timer. 67 minutes into the match. It's just way too long for Stunning to try and stop this. Hacker's the only member left alive.
They have so much time. They've got a single cannon minion. Flandre and SofM are tanky enough, and there's only one Nexus turret left. They're playing very cautiously here, Snake, but they should still have it.
30 seconds. Hacker only now is going to go back to base. He is the only man left up. Teleport even coming in from Azir, but it's too little, too late for Suning. They try to go for the back door, but Snake say, not today.